This lesson will review all the rules of regular conjugations and participle formations. First are the present tense conjugations. In the present tense, we remove the infinitive ending from the verb and add the respective present tense ending afterwards. The present tense endings for AR verbs are o, as, a, amos, ais, an. So for the verb hablar, we remove the AR ending, giving us the stem hable. To this stem, we add the respective present tense endings we see above. Hablo, hablas, habla, hablamos, habláis, hablan. The present tense endings for ER verbs are o, es, e, hemos, eis, en. For the verb comer, we remove the ER ending, giving us the stem com. To this stem we add the respective present tense endings we see above. Como, comes, come, comemos, coméis, comen. And the present tense endings for IR verbs are o, es, e, imos, is, en. So for the verb vivir, we remove the IR ending, giving us the stem viv. To this stem we add the respective present tense endings we see above. Vivo, vives, vive, vivimos, vivís, viven. Next are the imperfect conjugations. For the imperfect, we remove the infinitive ending from the verb and then add the respective imperfect endings afterwards. For AR verbs, the imperfect endings are aba, abas, aba, habamos, habáis, haban. So for the verb hablar, we remove the AR ending, giving us a stem hable. To this stem we add the respective imperfect endings we see above. Hablaba, hablabas, hablaba, hablábamos, hablabáis, hablaban. For ER and IR verbs, the imperfect endings are ia, ias, ia, iamos, iais, ian. So for the verb comer, we remove the ER ending, giving us the stem com. And to this stem we add the respective imperfect endings we see above. Comía, comías, comía, comíamos, comíais, comían. And for the verb vivir, we remove the IR ending, giving us the stem viv. To this stem we add the respective imperfect endings we see above. Vivía, vivías, vivía, vivíamos, vivíais, vivían. The conjugations for the preterite are next. To conjugate verbs in the preterite, we remove the infinitive ending and add the respective preterite endings afterwards. The preterite endings for AR verbs are e, aste, o, amos, asteis, aron. So for the verb hablar, we remove the AR ending, giving us the stem hable. And to this stem we add the respective preterite endings we see above. Hablé, hablaste, habló, hablamos, hablasteis, hablaron. The preterite endings for ER and IR verbs are I, iste, io, imos, isteis, ieron. So for the verb comer, we remove the ER ending, giving us the stem com. And to this stem, we add the respective preterite endings we see above. Comí, comiste, comió, comimos, comisteis, comieron. For the verb vivir, we remove the IR ending, giving us the stem viv. And to this we add the respective preterite endings we see above. Viví, viviste, vivió, vivimos, vivisteis, vivieron. Next are the conjugations under the future tense. When conjugating verbs under the future tense, we keep the verb in its infinitive form and then add the respective future tense endings afterwards. So unlike the present, preterite, and imperfect, the future and conditional tenses do not remove the verb endings. We keep the verb in their infinitive form and then add the respective endings afterwards. All three verb groups have one set of future endings. They are e, as, a, hemos, eis, han. So for the verb hablar, we keep this infinitive and simply add the respective future endings afterwards. Hablaré, hablarás, hablará, hablaremos, hablaréis, hablarán. For comer, we again keep the infinitive and add the respective future endings afterwards. Comeré, comerás, comerá, comeremos, comeréis, comerán. And for vivir, we once again keep the infinitive and add the respective future endings afterwards. Vivire, vivirás, vivirá, viviremos, viviréis, vivirán. Next, the conjugations under the conditional tense. Just like in the future tense, when conjugating verbs in the conditional, we keep them in their infinitive form, and then add the respective endings afterwards. We do not remove the infinitive endings from those verbs. All three verb groups share one set of conditional endings. They are ia, ias, ia, iamos, iais, ian. So for the verb hablar, we keep it in its infinitive form and then add the respective conditional endings afterwards. Hablaría, hablarías, hablaría, hablaríamos, hablaríais, hablarían. For comer, we again keep the verb in its infinitive form and then add the conditional endings afterwards. Comería, comerías, comería, comeríamos, comeríais, comerían. For vivir, we again keep the verb in its infinitive and then add the conditional endings afterwards. Viviría, vivirías, viviría, viviríamos, viviríais, vivirían. The regular conjugations for the present subjunctive. To conjugate a verb in the present subjunctive, we remove the infinitive ending and then add the respective present subjunctive endings afterwards. Present subjunctive endings for AR verbs are e, es, hemos, eis, en. So with the exception of the yo ending, present subjunctive AR verb endings are identical to present tense ER verb endings. For the verb hablar, we remove the infinitive ending, giving us the stem hable. And to this stem we add the respective present subjunctive endings we see above. Hable, hables, hable, hablemos, habléis, hablen. The present subjunctive endings for ER and IR verbs are a, as, a, amos, ais, an. And with the exception of the yo ending, the present subjunctive endings for ER and IR verbs are the same as present tense AR verb endings. So for the verb comer, we remove the infinitive ending, giving us the stem com. And to this stem we add the respective present subjunctive endings we see above. Coma, comas, coma, comamos, comais, coman. For vivir, we remove the infinitive ending, giving us the stem vive. And to this stem we add the respective present subjunctive endings we see above. Viva, vivas, viva, vivamos, vivais, vivan. Next are the conjugations under the imperfect subjunctive. In the imperfect subjunctive, we use a different stem compared to the previous conjugations. For the present, imperfect, and preterite tenses in the present subjunctive, we remove the infinitive ending, and then we add the respective endings afterwards. For the future and conditional, we keep the verb in its infinitive form, and then we add the respective endings afterwards. For the imperfect subjunctive, we take the third person plural preterite form of the verb. This ends in aron for AR verbs, and eron for ER and IR verbs. We remove the ron portion of this ending, and then to this stem we add the respective imperfect subjunctive endings afterwards. The imperfect subjunctive actually has two possible sets of endings. The first set for all three verb groups is ra, ras, ra, ramos, rais, ran. The second set, se, ses, se, semos, seis, sen. The first set of endings is more commonly used, but both sets of endings are grammatically correct and interchangeable. For hablar, the third person plural preterite form is hablaron. We remove the ron to obtain the stem habla, and to this stem we add the respective imperfect subjunctive endings. Hablara, hablaras, hablara, hablaramos, hablarais, hablaran. Hablase, hablases, hablase. Hablasemos, hablaseis, hablasen. For the verb comer, the third person plural preterite form is comieron. We remove the ron and obtain the stem comer. And to this stem we add the respective imperfect subjunctive endings. Comiera, comieras, comiera, comieramos, comierais, comieran. Comiese, comieses, comiese, comiesemos, comieseis, comiesen. For the verb vivir, the third person plural preterite form is vivieron. We remove the ron and obtain the stem vivir, and to this stem we add the respective imperfect subjunctive endings. Viviera, vivieras, viviera, viviéramos, vivierais, vivieran. Viviese, vivieses, viviese, viviesemos, vivieseis, viviesen. You must note that the nosotros imperfect subjunctive conjugations always require an accent on the last vowel that comes before the imperfect subjunctive ending. This applies to both the first and second set of endings. Next are the regular command forms under the imperative mood. The imperative is a mood like the indicative and subjunctive, and it expresses commands. The imperative mood only applies to tú, usted, nosotros, vosotros, and ustedes. Affirmative, usted, nosotros, and ustedes commands use their respective present subjunctive forms. Hable usted conmigo. Caminemos al parque. Entren ustedes. Affirmative tú commands use the third person singular form of the present tense. Come conmigo. Lee este libro. Estudia bien. And affirmative vosotros commands remove the R from the infinitive and replace it with a D. Comprad este regalo. Escribid una carta. Corred allá. Negative commands place no before the imperative verb to indicate negation, and all negative commands use their respective present subjunctive forms. No comas conmigo. No hable usted con ellos. No caminemos al parque. No compréis este regalo. No entren ustedes. And when making formal commands, oftentimes we do include usted and ustedes with the imperative verb. You may also include the tú and vosotros subject pronouns with the imperative verb for added emphasis. So in summary, the affirmative tú and vosotros commands are the only commands that are not based on the present subjunctive form. Verb conjugations under the future subjunctive. The future subjunctive stem is identical to the imperfect subjunctive stem. We take the third person plural preterite form, which ends in aron for AR verbs and ieron for ER and IR verbs. We remove the ron portion of that ending, and then to that stem we add the respective future subjunctive endings afterwards. For all three verb groups, the future subjunctive endings are re, res, re, remos, reis, ren. For the verb hablar, the third person plural preterite form is hablaron. We remove the ron and obtain the stem habla. And to this stem, we add the respective future subjunctive endings. Hablare, hablares, hablare, hablaremos, hablareis, hablaren. For comer, the third person plural preterite form is comieron. We remove the ron and obtain the stem comie. And to this stem we add the respective future subjunctive endings. Comiere, comieres, comiere, comieremos, comiereis, comieren. For the verb vivir, the third person plural preterite form is vivieron. We remove the ron and obtain the stem vivie. And to this stem, we add the respective future subjunctive endings afterwards. Viviere, vivieres, viviere, vivieremos, viviereis, vivieren. Next, we will review how present participles are formed. Present participles for AR verbs are formed by removing the infinitive ending and adding ando to the stem. For ER and IR verbs, we remove their infinitive ending and add yendo to the stem. So for hablar, we remove the AR ending, giving us the stem habla. We then add ando to the stem, giving us the present participle hablando. For comer, we remove the ER ending, giving us the stem com. We then add yendo to the stem, giving us the present participle comiendo. For vivir, we remove the IR ending, giving us the stem viv. We then add yendo to the stem, giving us the present participle viviendo. And lastly, we will review past participle formation. The past participles for AR verbs are formed by removing the infinitive AR ending and then adding ado to the stem. For ER and IR verbs, we remove their infinitive ending and add ido to the stem. So for hablar, removing the ending gives us the stem hable. We then add ado to the stem, giving us the past participle hablado. For the verb comer, we remove the ER ending, giving us the stem com. We then add ido to the stem, giving us the past participle comido. And for vivir, we remove the IR ending, giving us the stem viv. We then add ido to the stem, giving us the past participle vivido. With that, we have reviewed all regular conjugations and regular participle formations in Spanish. As I always say, I would very much appreciate it if you could please share this video series with your friends and teachers. And that is all for now, so until next time.